When I was a young kid, I had a paper route.
Fourscore.
Yes, I had 83 papers to be exactly. And they were all in 2 and 3 decker papers. Houses, rather. So, when I started, I was getting 35 cents a week for paper. So when I bring the paper to the people, they would give me 50 cents. So keep the change. And the paper went up to 40. I brought the paper to the people and they said, here, 50 cents, keep the change. And when I went up to 45 cents, I brought them the paper and they said, here's 50 cents, keep the change. So I ended up quitting because I couldn't afford to take another hit. But with the money that was generated from the paper route, I was getting around $4 to $4.50, $5 a week in it. And I had this money in my pocket, and I wanted to get something, but I didn't know what. But then one day I saw a guy with a tattoo. I said, I think I'd like to get a tattoo. So I asked several of my friends. And they said, the only place to get a tattoo around here is Sailor Joe's on Pleasant Street in New Bedford. So I said, well, whereabouts? He said, right in back of Wonder Bread, which is on Purchase. It's Sailor Joe's. Run down 2-decker apartment. 2nd floor. You see a little sign out in front that says Sailor Joe's with an arrow pointing up the stairs. So I jumped on my bicycle and I rode about 7 miles to Sailor Joe's. And I got there and I looked up and there's the sign with the arrow. So I opened up the door and here's this run-down house with lead paint falling off the wall all the way up. And at the top, a dingily lit 35-watt bulb with a darkness all around it. So I don't know if I want to even go up here. But I decided I will. So I go upstairs and I knock on the door, and sure enough, the door opens and here's this old man about 70. He says to me, what do you want, kid? I said, well, I want to get a tattoo. He said, well, how old are you? I said, I'm 18. He said, okay, come on in. So I go in, even though I was only 12 or so. And he said to me, what kind of tattoo do you want? I said, I don't really know. I never had one before. I said, what do you give? He said, well, you get some people like battleships, some people like crossbones, some people like flowers, some people like names on them. I said, yeah, a name, that sounds pretty cool. Yeah. He said, well, what do you want? I said, well, why don't you put my name on my arm? So he said, what's your name? I said, Richard. So he did. He put my name on my arm, and I believe I'm the only person in the United States that has his own name on his own arm. So now I'm cool. I got a tattoo. $1.50. So I still got money to burn, as they say. Well, the following week, the circus comes to town. And I go down with a good friend of mine, Norman Demers, and we're there and we look at the sideshow, and it says, fat lady with a mustache, and sword swallower, tattoo artist. I said, ooh, tattoo artist. Hey, wait a minute. I got about $10 now. Probably not much more money in the country. So I go and I trace down this tattoo artist. And I see him, and I see him doing work. Here is a guy who's about 3 feet tall, has no legs, one arm without a upper arm. He's got his elbow sticks out of his chest on his side with a little hand on it, and he takes and he rolls his body to get the tattoo on. So I said, I don't know if I want this guy, But I watch him, and he does a beautiful job. The guy in front of me, I said, yeah, I'm going to get this guy. I'm going to get one. So who's next? I said, me. He said, nah, beat it, kid. You ain't 18. He said, what are you talking about? He said, that's what I said. You're probably 12, 13 years old. Come back when you're older. I said, hey, wait a minute, pal. So I roll up my sleeve, and I show him my tattoo. He said, boy, I never pegged you for 18, but you got a tattoo, you must be. So he says, come on in. So I come in, and he says, what do you want? I said, gee, I don't know. What do you got? So he shows me 100 different things. So I pick out a skull and crossbones. He said, yeah, I can do that one for you. He said, how much? He said, $3.50. I said, hey, go for it, right? So he puts it on and did a nice job. And he's right in my face because that's the only thing he can do, And he's up on a pillow that's on top of a stool. And he's 6 inches away from me all the time. And I got the nerve to ask him, I said, what does it feel like to have no legs? And he said to me, kid, you never miss what you never had. I said, oh, okay. So he gets all done. I said, is that it? I said, no, I got some more money. Well, what do you want now? I said, gee, I don't know. How much for that eagle over there? That eagle, he said, is $5. I said, all right, I can live with that. Give me it. So he puts a nice eagle on my right shoulder, and he gets it all done. And he says, okay, that's two. You all set now? I said, well, tell you the truth, I got a little bit more money. He said, well, what do you want now? I said, well, let me look around. So I look through all his tattoos, and then I see one, a double heart with flowers running through it. And in the center of each heart, it says mother and dad. I said, they can't be mad if I put that one. So I says, give me that one. Mother and dad, $3.50. Okay, do it. So I get it all done. Now I'm spent. I got all my arms tattooed. So the following week, I go to school. I'm going to Namandin Junior High. My homeroom teacher is Mr. Costa. So I'm sitting down. I'm about the second desk back from the front. And he looks at me and he says, hey, Maniz, come here. I said, what? He said, you're out of here. I said, what did I do? I didn't do nothing. He says, get out of here and don't come back until you wash them off. I said, okay. So I take off and I go home. Next day I get up and my parents go to work. I make off, I'm going to school. I come back, watch TV, yada, yada. This goes on for 3 days. And all of a sudden, I open up the door. Here's the truant officer. He said, what are you doing home? I said, it's not my fault. He said, well, tell me about it. I said, well, my homeroom teacher told me, you're out of here. Don't come back until you wash them off. He said, what is he talking about? I said, my tattoos. He said, those are real? I said, yes, they're real. He shakes his head and he walks away. He says, be in school tomorrow. I'll take care of this. So he does. So now I'm the Fawns. I got my T-shirt with my Lucky Strikes in it, and I got my 4 tattoos, and everybody thinks I'm cool. After I get out of school, I got to go work with my father. So now I go home, I got to put on a long sleeve shirt so he don't find out I got tattoos. So we're working in the junkyard. And it's summertime coming up. It's getting warm. So we're working out there, and he says to me, hey, son, why don't you take off your shirt? It's hot out here. I said, Dad, you got to remember, cotton keeps you cool. Right? So I wear the shirt and wear the shirt. finally one day we're loading up this Packard straight 8 motor with a tranny by hand because we didn't have the money to power equipment. And we almost got it in the truck, and it's starting to slip. So now he said, let it go. I let it go, and as it rolls back out of the truck, the generator bracket grabs my sleeve and rips it right off. And then he sees the tattoos. And he looks at me and he smiled in a special way, but not for me to see it. And he walked away. And that's the story of my tattoos.